If you're watching this video, the chances are that you probably have your A-levels soon approaching. You're probably feeling a little bit nervous and worried, which is totally fine. But this shouldn't stop you from preparing well for your A-levels. In this video, I will go through things which helped me prepare for A-levels about a month before and helped me to get A stars across all of my subjects. So let's begin. Now, what so many students do is they prepare really well for paper one. They'll dedicate most of their time to paper one because that is your first exam. But then paper two and paper three are neglected. But when your exams start, trust me, you don't have much time to be preparing. Within 1 week, I had 4 exams, and you may even have 2 exams on the same day. So what I did instead was I prepared for paper 3 and then paper 2 first, made sure I was comfortable with them, and then I moved on to paper 1. What this meant was that although I may have felt like I had a little bit less time for paper 1, when exam started and paper 1 was done, my peers were stressing and trying to cram everything for paper 2 and paper 3, whereas I felt a lot more comfortable and a lot more relaxed. Now moving on to past papers. I don't think I'm the first person saying it, but past papers are a lifesaver. But you have to be using them properly. This means doing the past papers under actual exam conditions. So if your exam is 2 hours, then stop at 2 hours. If you're not going to have a break in the actual exam, then try not to have a break when you're doing your past paper. If you're not going to be listening to music in the actual exam, then don't listen to music when you're doing the past papers. I even printed out all of my past papers. Although it meant that I had to make new friends just to get their print credits, it was really useful. Now on to the most important part about past papers, marking them. When you've done a past paper, try and mark it on the same day. Maybe take a break and then mark it. Because if you are marking it 2 or 3 days after, you've probably forgotten a lot. Now when it comes to marking your past paper, then make sure that you are understanding everything. If you don't understand something, then you can search up the question on the internet or on YouTube. There are some YouTubers who go through the model answers for each of the questions for each of the past papers, especially for maths, and that can be really beneficial. And then you can also ask your teachers and your friends for help. Try and do as many past papers as possible for your specific exam board. If there are mark points which keep coming up again and again, or you think they are important, then you can make flashcards out of them by writing the question on the front and writing the answer on the back, or you could use alternative apps such as Quizlet, for example. Now, as you do the past papers, you will realize that there are some topics which you are totally fine with and some which need a little bit more work. You could then go on to spend more time reviewing those topics and then ultimately do more questions for that specific topic. Remember, nothing is better than doing exam questions. Now, I've been going on about how good past papers are, but try not to do them too close to your exam, for example, the day before, because if you do badly, then that can affect your confidence. And you just need a little bit of rest before your actual exams. And it's completely fine to repeat a past paper if you've done it before. It will show you that you are progressing. So many students will try to go through the whole of content and try to make notes on everything. It's not worth it. You simply won't get time to review it. Now is the time to be using the notes that you have previously made. What if you don't have any notes or you think the notes aren't good enough? Then you can use the notes from your college that the college has provided you, or you can look for notes online, such as on websites such as Physics and Maths Tutor. Now lastly, I would just like to highlight how important organization is. You need to have a plan for every day before exam and you need to follow it. You need to know what you're going to be doing and when. I remember when I was doing my A-levels, a friend of mine compiled all of the Physics and Maths Tutor chemistry questions, and there was about 1,900 PDFs. This is just for one A-level. You obviously won't be able to get through all the resources, therefore it's really important that you have a plan to ensure that you are covering as much as possible and you aren't missing out anything important. This will allow you to relieve some of that exam stress and just make sure that you're ready, because the last thing you want is finding out you have 5 topics to cover when your exam is tomorrow. Also, try and leave the 2-3 days before exams empty, because if there is anything you're not too confident in, you will have time to go through it. And everyone finds a magical resource during the exam period which they wish they had found earlier. You need to have time for that. So leave the 2-3 days before exam empty. Finally, I would like to mention that this is a stressful period. Everyone wishes that they had got more work done or they had started their revision earlier, but forget the past and just focus on the days that you have left. But sometimes there are some basic things which we forget, such as eating properly or having some time to ourselves. Although this may take a little bit of your time, it will make everything more productive and healthier. I hope everything goes well for you. Thanks for watching and good luck.